once you've collected the data, it's really important that you can share it with others in a very clear and concise way, because first of all, people are busy, especially when we're talking to managers or other scientists, and so they don't have a lot of time to sort of digest very complicated graphs or figures, and so we try to present it in this most simple way that we can to get the point across. And when I was in school, my advisor would always told me, like, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and so you can very easily get a point across with a picture than you can with a very complicated graph or a very complicated paragraph describing your findings. And so what I try to do is, I mentioned earlier that we have a lot of invasive species in Hawaii, and so we need to pick which species are having the greatest impact so that managers can focus on those species and try to develop mechanisms to control or essentially eradicate those species. And so what I've done over the last 10 years is I've collected information on mosquito fish, and I've given presentations to resource managers and to other scientists, and I feel that those graphs and those figures have identified that, yes, mosquito fish are a concern, and we need to figure out a way to deal with them. And so it's also led to additional research, because every time you ask a question and you answer it, you have essentially 10 more questions to ask. And so our research on the mosquito fish has really grown and to several other studies to try to get at exact mechanisms, again, how they're impacting the native fish in the streams. As a result, there have been efforts by various agencies to try to control these species. So, for example, on the island of Kauai, in the valley of Hanalei, there is a big concern there because the river is full of these invasive fish. And based upon the data that we've shared with the managers, we have designed a barrier that essentially keeps the exotic fish out of the native area that they're trying to manage. And it's proven to be pretty effective. And if we hadn't done the research and we hadn't presented it at these meetings, we probably still would not be talking about ways to control or eradicate these species. We'd still be trying to gather information to figure out how they're impacting them. I think of the advice that one of my professors gave me when I was in college, and that is, if it's not fun, don't do it. And so pick a project that you're going to have fun with, because you're going to get so much more out of it. It's going to be so much more enjoyable. And you might not be able to solve climate change or but I think as a young budding scientist, pick a project that appeals to you, that's fun. Like, for me, I loved working in the creek behind my house. Not working, I loved playing in the creek and coming home muddy. And so think about what you like to do, and then figure out how you could incorporate science into creating an experimental design. And that way you'll generate some potentially interesting data, and you'll have a lot of fun.
Visit the Natural Enquirer website for more information. There you can learn more about how to explain your results and interpret them.